Time is 8:37 Central African time, and we'll be heading over to the Middle East now, where a fragile ceasefire agreement between Israel and Lebanon has raised hopes of de-escalation in a region that is already on edge from months and months of conflict. But then there are major questions that are remaining about whether the agreement can survive its first real test. The ceasefire emerged from U.S. mediated talks in Washington, and it's conditional on a complete halt of military operations by Hezbollah and the withdrawal of its fighters from areas south of the Litani River. The agreement also envisages the creation of what they call security zones that are controlled exclusively by the Lebanese armed forces. However, the deal faces a significant obstacle now. Hezbollah was not a party to the negotiations. They were not present when these conversations were being had, and they have reportedly rejected key provisions of the agreement, describing the demands for a withdrawal under fire as unacceptable. We've all seen the scenes coming out of Lebanon, especially in the southern region, in the last few days, and it's still business as usual. Hezbollah insists that any lasting truce must include a full Israeli withdrawal from Lebanese territory and an end to Israeli military operations. Even as diplomats celebrated a breakthrough, violence continued on the ground. Israeli strikes and Hezbollah attacks have persisted, and it has essentially underscored just how fragile this ceasefire remains and continues to raise very, very important concerns that it could collapse before it is fully implemented. So we're going to be having a really, really important conversation around this because for many in Lebanon, this is a reality that they don't want. It has affected many. Many people have been displaced. Many people have lost their lives. And we're going to be getting more insight on the story with Lebanese news producer Ibrahim Zayat, who's joining us via our virtual platform. Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views. Always a pleasure having you on Salam Media.
Thank you, Salila. I'm glad to join you again. Thank you.
No, the pleasure is all ours. And I want to jump right into it for our listeners who may have not fully followed the developments out of Lebanon. What exactly has been agreed to in the ceasefire agreement? And what's the latest? Is this still business as usual? Is there still continuous bombardment of Lebanon, especially in the southern region?
Great. So what actually the Lebanese government has did is like a surrender agreement with Israel and sponsored by the U.S. The agreement says that Hezbollah should withdraw from the south of Litani with not only its weapons but also with the fighters. They term the fighters, which actually they are the people of these villages who they are fighting for against the occupation. It also says that there will be a pilot zones. This was also the term that has been used, that the Israeli army will be handling village by village to the Lebanese army after clearing it. Also, they're focusing on some terms that as if the Lebanese government is actually agreeing to an ethnic cleansing and the destruction of their villages before getting it back. This is the actual and the reality of this agreement that has been agreed by the Lebanese government and Israel in the sponsorship of Washington. The whole idea.
Yes. There's something that was concerning for me because the framing of it was so problematic. It was described as a conditional ceasefire rather than a full ceasefire. Why was it framed this way? Why was it being described as conditional rather than a full-scale ceasefire?
Because it's an agreement. It's an agreement saying that Hezbollah will stop their attacks, but Israel won't. And this is what we have seen since the first second of this agreement. They were asking Hezbollah to stop their attacks, and we will continue cleaning the area and attacking Hezbollah and something like that. While Hezbollah, for sure, has been very clear yesterday by saying we will not stop our attacks unless the Israeli attacks in all Lebanon, including the south, should stop. And this is what the ceasefire by Hezbollah, has been called by Hezbollah, their allies in Lebanon, and even by Iran.
Mm, mm. The omission of Hezbollah, not being in the table of negotiations, how significant was that, and can a ceasefire realistically succeed if one of the principal actors in the conflict does not fully endorse it, if they are not involved in any way?
As I said, Hezbollah was not part of these negotiations, and they criticized, the outcome of them. And it's very clear that the Lebanese authority are negotiating on behalf of themselves, and that just to make their sponsor, which is the United States, happy with keeping supporting them. They are going too far with a lot of things. They simply said, for the first time, the Lebanese, for the first time since 1982, because that happened also in 1983 agreement between the Lebanese government and Israel, which just collapsed a few months after that. But they are saying that we are not in a war in Israel. There is no, there is like a peace is coming after that. It's just as if it's just Hezbollah problem. Uh, uh, this is a war that's not our war. This is what the Lebanese the government is saying, while at the same time thousands of their people have been killed and they're still being killed, and their strikes are still going in the south. But they're saying no, this is not what this is not something that we have anything to do with. While Hezbollah is very clear, this is our war. We have to protect our people, our land from occupation. You don't have any any guarantees that Israel will withdraw, and they're uh, giving an example about what Israel is doing in south of Syria, where they already where the government is already having talks with Israel, and they didn't even attack Israel, and about the agreement that was supported and sponsored by United States and tens of Arab and Islamic countries, and the attacks are continuing. And now Netanyahu is seeking to increase the occupation of the Gaza Strip from 60% to 70%. So that has points where the Lebanese government points are saying that we have to reach a deal. We need negotiations, and we need to reach a peace agreement that even if Hezbollah agree on it or not. Of course, this on ground, this won't happen if Hezbollah is not agreeing it, but that's the language of the Lebanese government.
Can you maybe just describe for our listeners the situation on the ground in Lebanon right now, since that announcement, military activity, how what levels has it been on? Has it escalated? Has it been a bit lesser from the Israeli side? What is the situation on the ground in Lebanon today?
Sure. So in south, it's still going on. A normal war. Airstrikes are not stopping on the whole villages. Israeli army is still sending evacuation orders to the villages every day. At least we have 10 villages every day, and in addition to a general evacuation order to the south, the whole south of Lebanon area. So this is continuing at the same time that Lebanese government believes that they reach a ceasefire, because for Israel, South Lebanon is not part of any deal, and they have to finish their job. While Hezbollah is keeping fighting, Israeli advancing to many villages in the southern regions, in addition to keeping launching their drones against the Israeli forces inside the Lebanese territory. So the situation is a war that's still going on, while the Lebanese government believes that there is a ceasefire happening.
Just two last questions before I let you go. The Lebanese president Joseph Aoun has reportedly described this as perhaps the last opportunity of some sort for broader peace arrangement or agreement. Is that how it is being viewed inside Lebanon? And also, how are ordinary Lebanese citizens reacting to the ceasefire announcement? But still, after months of it being announced, there's still a lot of conflict. Are they leaning more to the government's modus operandi of negotiating with Israel and the United States, or they want Hezbollah to be included? What's the general mood inside of Lebanon?
Yeah, so let me start with what you mentioned about the president on what he has said, that this is the last chance, and this has been looked a bit much by the big group of the Lebanese and Hezbollah supporters and allies as a threat to them, as
Mm,
if saying, okay, even accept it or let Israel do the job. This is what has it been looked at it like. So as if President Aoun is relying a lot on, the American support for him, and as if he is as if presenting a loyalty card for the U.S.
mm,
So, or this is the whole, this is the whole performance of the Lebanese government and the Lebanese authorities right now is being looked as being seen as this way, as if they are being totally loyal to the U.S., not even caring about people around 100 million, around 1 million Lebanese being displaced, and tens being killed every day, including medics, hospitals attacks, and zero reaction from the Lebanese side. While the official statements are like it's going to threat their own people. This is the first part.
mm.
Regarding, what you've mentioned about uh,
The mood inside of Lebanon. How are people feeling? Do they lean more to the government, or do they want Hezbollah to be involved and to be part of these negotiations?
what people don't remember is that Hezbollah already got in the past elections the highest popular vote, even if the seats, the law is rigged, but Hezbollah already got the most popular vote, whether for the party itself or with their allies. And the general mood is supporter and against Israel whenever. Um, uh, not even looking, there's a lot of Lebanese Zionist supported Lebanese media that
Mm,
try to show the contrary, but the truth is that the most of the people and here deny don't are not even supporting any peace deal, and they are against occupation. So people look at what Lebanese government and Lebanese president and the whole authority are doing with a big eye and big opinion of criticism. There's some people who support for sure, but the majority, of course, of people are against this. We have the the part of the population is already displaced. It's a big number
mm,
compared to the number of the Lebanese people. So, you have 1 million of around 5 million are already in the streets or shelters or outside their homes. So that's a big crisis, and the Lebanese government is literally not caring about it. They just care about not being criticized and being loyal to the U.S.
Coming to us live from Beirut, Ibrahim Zayat. Thank you so much for chatting to us and for giving us insight on the latest in Lebanon. I really appreciate it. Hope we chat again soon.
Thank you so much.
Lebanese news producer Ibrahim Zayat, as I mentioned, coming to us live from Beirut, helping us unpack the complex realities behind the latest Israel-Lebanon ceasefire agreement. Yeah, very complex kind of state of affairs, and it's a story that we'll be continuing to keep a close and very, very keen eye on. Going to take a quick break. News and views will be with you right after this.